All right. I'll be doing a lot of Q&A here about pathways. I want to see a show of hands here. How many of you really know pathways? Not enough show of hands here, but oh, Joanne, awesome, good, because Joanne finished a level there, right? George, I'm looking at you right now. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to be sharing about pathways. Ryan, I'm going to pick on you today. Okay. What do you think pathways is?
Syllabus for the 7 or 8 tracks of the Toastmasters program, and a number of resources, and a guideway through the speaking curriculum.
Okay, very close is what we agree on. It's traditionally we used to have everything on books, and they changed it to online. And Pathways is an online educational system. I'm going to be talking about 3 things, the traditional 3, what, so mostly about the what of what is Pathways, 1 page on why, and what is DTM. Okay, let's keep going here. DTM, yeah, you guys like to know, is Distinguished Toastmasters. All right, I'm going to acknowledge the education team of this club. If you don't know it, this club, the reason why I have 52, 53, I was a division director before, and there are 2 clubs that have 52 and 53 members. And I asked them, how do you manage it? And the trick is not to manage those clubs, but to leave them alone because they know what they're doing, and just join them and ask them, what's your secret? And the secret is having committees. All right. And committees is something that Liban and Ali and the founder of this club, Rod Chambers, put in place, and a few of you guys that have been around, I know, I think you're one of those that's seen that. The other one that I want to acknowledge is the advisory team, Ali and Liban. I will say Liban is impressive. I was trying to encourage him, nudge him, push him to try to consider being a DTM, and he said no. He wants to be an Ali, which is he's going to spend an entire year advising this club, like an Ali. But then that means Ali can be pushed and nudged to be a DTM one day. So, all right. So that's pretty impressive. The past district leaders here, Norm and Kerry, is in a Toastmasters club. Kerry is a fellow division leader, so I know he's done district leadership role and area director. And Norm is amazing. Even though he does a lot in the non-pathways that I know, but there are 5 requirements for the traditional. 4 of them are the same in the pathways. We'll talk about that when we come to that page. I did ask Ryan, I got out of hand here, and anyone that wants do a bit of a Q&A here, which we know that Ryan talk about what Ryan gonna be picking on you, just so you know.
That's okay.
I already asked you earlier for that, and Kerry and Ali. Okay, so we know it's an online educational system. Now, a trick question here, Ryan, can we do the pathways in order or not? I know, no.
I think doing it in order is recommended, but I think you can mix and match it. I figured, being I'm not an expert, I would follow it in the recommended order.
Okay, and I open it up to the group here, members, guests. Can you do it in order or not?
You can do this out of order. You can do your speeches out of order.
Joanne, I know you know, because I'm going to give people, but that's good. Awesome. So yes, you can do it.
That's why I was sitting out on this one.
Awesome. So the answer is I wanted to move this. You can see submit in order. So in order or not, logically, it means you can do it out of order, or you have to track it. I will show you how to track it. The next page, the tracking option in District 60, there are documents there by someone who's awesome. If you guys know him, Tony Nelson, DTM, longtime Toastmaster. You can tell the link is here. I hope you guys can see the link. And the Pathways here is where he put in all his signature document. To save time, to speed up, I hope you can see the Pathways checklist that he put in place. This PDF file for all the 11 paths for Pathways in here. You can click on it, save this document, and use it to track your own Pathways progress. Okay. There's a difference here between November 1 and before November and after November, and Pathways changed a few times. In case you didn't know, they changed it last week, so I have to redo a lot of the views for today. And what it is, in that same District 60 link, there's about Pathways there. You can see this is the link to get there. And these are all the nice little words that they talk about. It self-paced. It is self-paced. You can take as long as you want. You don't have to rush through it. But my experience with this is that probably your first Pathways, so the 2 paths, and for your DTM, you can rush a little bit. Okay, but for the rest, try to do quality over quantity. There are 11 paths. So here and 60 projects. The reason why I highlight projects is because we are a project manager Toastmasters club. I'm gonna pick on Lieben here. Lieben have shared that he came to PMUT to focus on PM and who cares about Toastmasters. But if you ever get your PMP, for those that click on the PMP, the link, it says at the bottom, now work on your communication skills. So whatever Rod Chambers talked about and the rest of you executives here, it's awesome that you formed this club. It's a club that is in the top 10 in the world today. Okay, projects include 300 transferable competency. I'm not going to go into details of that. Every project that you see for each path, you will see at least 5 competencies mentioned. And then, of course, this is the speech that is put in by District 60 and Toastmasters to us. Employees can, through practicing all the projects, you can negotiate, network, lead meetings, and other things that's there. This is straight off the page there. And the projects are accessible online. Now, I put a little thing there called use the Pathways assessment tool to select a path. You need to select a path or not. So you don't need to use the tool, but you can use this way to pick any path that you want without going through the assessment tool. Okay, so far we so good, yeah?
Yes.
I'm gonna pause right here. Any question, anyone?
Oh, no? I didn't realize it was 11 paths. That's a lot.
You only work on 2 for your DTM, by the way. So, okay. Okay, this one I should have walked step by step here. So I'm gonna pause here for a minute. The reason why I want to do these pathways is because, like, how many of you really know pathways from what I just showed you? So a lot of members that I know, I was a member of 7 clubs, and in the early time when you can hear Ali was reading about it, I have to give up the traditional education system on paper to go to Pathways because everyone was going, what do we do next? This is all online. So I'm gonna pick on Ryan nicely and say, we're gonna walk through the icebreaker project that Josh just did, and to show you, and this is all, I'm not gonna go through it online one by one, it takes a long time, so I took a snapshot for you. And you will know that inside every project, There's inside every project, like I like to show project with an envelope, there is an icebreaker speech that you can use that it will give you a tip for that, or it can be something else. It can be, for example, I'm going to say here, for those of you here that didn't know it, if you're a Toastmaster, that's a project. You just finish a project for the club. If you're a table topic master, that's another project. If you're an evaluator, that's a project. You're a speaker, that's a project. Make sure you talk to your VPE if you can before you do it, just to make it official, or to the education team. And somebody there will fill in your form, and you can at least make it official to sign off. Okay, now pathways have to be something like the traditional style too. Every project in Pathways has a PDF file for the entire project. It's about 25 pages. It's usually on the second last page. I'll show you how to get there too. Every project, all 60 projects, to high level talk about a Pathways path is usually 3 projects per level. There's 5 levels. So you need 15 projects roughly to finish one path. Joanne last year and Liban too, they finished the 5th one. You have to talk about it. There's another little project there to talk about your entire experience. So it's about 16 altogether. And then you're done. You've done that project. You've done the path, which is awesome. It's a nice certificate that you can use. All right, I'll keep going here. This is for Ryan and Josh, and I can't see most of the screen here. I found out from a research back in July at the District 60 website that about 10 to 12 of you have never opened the Pathways project yet. So try to at least pick from here and do the assessment, sign up your free project, and at least get it going. Okay. So this is now the Toastmasters.org, Toastmasters International website for George and for Ryan, and for any of the guests and members here who are new to Pathways. There is a change here. You can see most of the, if you see my mouse here, most of the, it used to be called Pathways here, but just last week they changed it to education programs without really telling us. So I changed everything for us for this speech today. Okay, so this is how you log in if you never logged in before. I do know from helping people in my 7th class that they actually wanted this. I wish I have this back then in 2017 November. This is how you log in. You get up there, and once you log in, get into the educational programs, and you see there, this is the new page, something called Pathways down here. I don't know why they make it difficult like this. On Pathways, you have to choose a path if you never get into Pathways before. Choose a path down here. Okay. I got 2 pages for this. Choose a path. And remember, I said on the right is the Pathways assessment, and on the left you can look at all the paths. Click on one of them, and the first Pathways for any Toastmaster is free. After that is $20 US. I have 7 open for that. So far, so good. Any questions? I'm gonna pause here. Yeah, no question. Good. If you put a question, put a little hand up and I can see that. Okay, now, for most of us, we are going to go to base camp most of the time. It's to use the Liban analogy here. You go to Himalayas or any other hills, base camp, that's where you start. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Go to base camp. This is the new pages. And yeah, if you never sign on Pathways, you can sign up as all 11. You don't have to pay after the 11. You can repeat them. but that would be like working on quite a few DTMs at that time. I'm currently a member of 5 clubs, so I have to pick Project Managers United Toastmasters, and of course, go to Basecamp. I'm gonna pause here. There's 3 of you in this club that are over and above a Basecamp user. Just wonder if you guys know who it is. Liban and Joanne, you cannot say anything for now. Yeah.
I'm sitting out on this one.
Repeat that question again. There are how
Yeah,
many?
can you repeat it? I didn't get it.
Yeah, there's
3 people.
there's 3 roles. There's 3 roles, 3 officer roles in this club that are over and above the Basecamp user. I'm not gonna waste any time here. I'm gonna do a
Yeah. So sorry.
Go
Can
on.
I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So secretary role, the VP role, and the president role.
Okay, so in order, that's good. It's called Basecamp Managers, and it's the VPE, VP of Education. Then if the VPE is not available, the next role, the next person that would cover it is the secretary, and then if the secretary cannot cover it, the president will cover. So President Joanne Chow, secretary, and VPE. Okay. Good. So why I say that, I'm gonna pause here for a minute, is when you finish your project, Ryan and Josh, you have to contact the VPE to, well, for the level, not for the project. So when you finish the level, so there's 3 projects per level. When you finish the level, you have to call or contact or communicate with the VPE. Please approve my level. And then for most of you, you're a member of 1 club. For most of you, you would make sure that the officer, any of the 7 officers, can approve that level in another area of Toastmasters International. It's called submit your educational credit. You have to do that, and then you need to verify it the next day that they did do this. Now, a trick question here: if you're a member of 2 clubs, can the VPE approve and you send the credit to another club?
No,
No, no.
only at the club that they're approving it for.
That should be the way, but Pathways have make it open. You can send it to another club. Yeah.
Really interesting.
But it'd be nice if you keep everything nice and tidy, right? So use that Tony Nelson and keep, approve it and send it to your own club. Yeah. To the submit to your own club. Now, this is pretty competitive. I know when I finish a level 4, level 5, the VPE will just grab it if I don't say anything. So we gotta be aware of it. Okay, I'll keep going here. Click on the Basecamp. My mouse here, there's a flurry thing here. Click on the Basecamp except for the Basecamp managers, but the focus for today is on you, the members, and anyone that needs to know Pathways or Pathways as a refresher. Okay, oh, sorry, opposite way. Okay, this is not new. This is the same as just before they make the change last week. I mark it up here, click on this Paths and Learning Education Transcript. Most of you just have 1 path right now, or none, but you won't have a problem here. But if you are like me, I have 7 paths open and finish 2, there's 9 paths. It gets a bit tricky. So this is where you click on to get in. And these are all your paths. For this club, I purposely put the bottom here is team collaboration. Level 3 was stolen in another club, but level 4 and level 5 will make sure it goes to this club. So, and you click on here, open curriculum. So far you're okay. Okay. Now this is more for where is Ryan and George. So Ryan and George are in this club. The beauty of this club, when you start, there is always a mentor and a mentee. My mentor is Didier, but Didier knows I know most of this, so I don't need this, but I need the PM credit. I might come to him for some information on that. All right, so but back to Pathways, we're gonna focus on the icebreaker. I'm gonna pick on George too. I'm getting to know the George. Ryan and George, this is where you click on the icebreaker at the launch there. And the first thing you see is navigation. Oh, so we're gonna focus on icebreaker, but it can be any of the 60 projects out there, depending on what path you pick. You see the bottom here, select to move to another section. And you can move between pages using here. So the bottom down here is where you can navigate to sections within the online documentation. And you can go left and right on here. So, but this is a PowerPoint. So what you see is, this is how you go to every section out here. To keep it simple for you, you should look at the assess your skills before. And of course, every one of them has navigation, introduction, your assignment, which is icebreaker here. And then the thing that repeats here, what do you learn? The 5 competencies for each project. And then, so this is the difference between Pathways and the paper. In paper, you don't have videos that you can look at. Online, you can have videos, and they have a few, depends on what the projects you do, they have the videos, relevant videos for you to study on. And then you keep going down, and then eventually you have an assignment, depending on what kind of assignment that you do. For those of you that work on this, you would know that. And in the assignment, you would be, say, for example, know your leadership style. You have to finish it in the project online to get what kind, and it will tell you what kind of leader you are. So you've never done it. So that's a big difference between Pathways and the paper version before Pathways. Now the last one here, which I didn't highlight here, is called your evaluation. That is a secret place where in every project you go there and I will show you. This is your evaluation. So for every of the 60 projects, it's the same. Print my project is the link to the PDF. You get about 25 pages roughly per project. That's like your little booklet. Or as one of my Toastmaster friend would always say to me, please don't burn any paper, just use the PDF file and fill it in. So Print My Project is the PDF file for every project out there. Evaluation results is just that document that you see on the Free Toast Host website that the PMUT has. That is where you can fill in and you send that back to the speaker. Or in Pathways, and even in a traditional now would agree to that you can evaluate the evaluator. So that's also a project for that. That's icebreaker. That's a little cheat sheet or worksheet here for the icebreaker. And George, you will look at that, and then once you finish that, you will go on to the last one, access your skills after. And then you fill it in, and then make sure you. Pathways is not very intuitive. You have to close the tab to close the project. This is for both Ryan and for George. Yeah.
Josh.
Yes, and anyone that is not sure about this part. Okay, we keep going here. We near that kind of a bit of a rush here. I'm gonna pause a bit. Any question on the what is Pathways? There's only 2 more.
No, I do have a question actually, but I was kind of waiting.
No, I'll take the question, and in Toastmasters we call it give me a best shot.
So trying not to be too greedy, I'm thinking I should complete the path that I am on before attempting another path. There seems to be quite a bit of overlap between paths. Anybody want to throw any suggestions there? I'm thinking I should finish one path first, but then there are two that are directly related to work, but I kind of have to choose one. And I'm trying not to, the old saying, the man that chases after two geese only catches one.
Well, we already explained that to you. You can do it you can try to do at least 2 paths anytime, or open more if you want to. It's $20 US each. And I would say, just do it. The first DTM, make it a bit of a rush. Our current international director is Dawn Frill for Region 6 right now. And she actually openly say her first DTM was a rush. Yeah. And a few DTMs have told me the same thing. So yeah, it's okay to open up, but it is up to you. It is up to you. So,
Okay. Thanks, Arthur.
no problem. Anyone wants to add to that? Yeah.
If I may, Ryan, fantastic question. One of the things that I came across is that, as you said, if you try to chase 2 different opportunities, you will not catch any. But more selfish point, the club needs to get enough points to get the President's Distinguished Award. So if you're trying to pursue 2, chances are that you will not finish the levels as quick as possible. So if you want to contribute points to the club, I would say finish 1.
Okay, and further to that, I'm thinking that based on the speeches you'd have to do, you'd pretty much be hugging all the spots. Because you'd have to be...
Don't worry, the education committee has a plan, and they will be reaching out to the club members to encourage them to finish different pathways.
Thank you, Levan. Thanks,
Can
Arthur.
Okay, I'm going to add to that too before I ask Norm. Okay, Norm, go ahead first. Sorry.
Yeah, I think a point that's being missed here a little bit is that a real strong advantage to having multiple paths open at once is that it gives you the flexibility to fit a project in your Pathways path to something that's going on in real life that you feel a need to give a speech about. If you only have one path open, you have that many opportunities. 14, right? There's 14 or 15
yeah.
projects in a path. So if you have 2 open, it gives you the flexibility. If something that you need to do a speech for and you'd like to practice it at the Toastmasters meeting doesn't happen to fit in one of the projects in one of the paths that you have open, you can go to the other path. And the other thing is, I'm not sure who the gentleman was, but he said there's a little bit of overlap. But actually, if you look at path 1 in every project, path 1, level 1, I'm sorry, in every path is pretty much identical. That's because it's the basics. So every path you open, the first couple of projects are going to seem like old hat to you. But I encourage you not to treat them that way. Make a challenge out of it. I've personally have given 23 different icebreaker speeches. And, you know, it gets challenging after a while, but you use that challenge to help build your repertoire. So yeah, there's a little bit of repetition from one path to the next. The other place where you'll see repetition is that there are 11 paths. If you figure you got to do 14 or 15, let's say 15 just for round numbers. If you have to do 15 projects for a path, how many projects does that add up to? Somebody quick with the math. Anybody? 165. So that should tell you, gee, if everything was going to be different between all of the paths, there would have to be 165 projects. There isn't. There's only 60. And that's because the 60 projects are projects that were designed to specifically address a certain thing that they're trying to help you accomplish, a certain character. And each path will use multiple projects to the best fit for that path's objective. So some of those projects are going to be the same. And you'll find that a lot of them are electives as you get into the level 3 and higher. And you'll find that a lot of the electives are the same. If you like a project a lot, you did it already in one path, you can do the same one in another path and get more practice on it because it's probably also offered as an elective there. Back to you, Arthur.
Thanks,
Thank you, Norm.
I'm just going to add on top of what Norm suggests, which is the level 1 if you have two paths open, you cannot in the same club have two level ones within the same term. It has to be in two. It has to be in a different club or in a different term. So not the same term. So two paths cannot be in one club in the same term. So this is for Joanne. Is Joanne as a president this year? This is if you need to open up more paths. One of the things that Norm, myself, and I know Carrie, we belong to 3 or more clubs. You could work out the different paths over there, and you can finish your paths faster that way. Okay, so any more questions? I'm open to that. Do you have time? Norm, you got your hand up. Do you have
Oh,
another?
sorry.
Oh, okay. Ryan, Josh?
No, I'm
gonna
good
pick-
so far, thanks.
I'm gonna pick on Josh too. No? Okay. All right, I see Lionel. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So we have almost at the end, the why. Why we do pathways? You don't have to. As a member of 7 clubs at one time, member of 5 now, there are a lot of people that just want to come to Toastmasters and just relax, don't worry about roles, and just don't keep track of anything. You could be one of that. We're easygoing here. PMUT, we are the club of a lot of PMs here, Scrum Master and Toastmasters club, to be aware. And Norm Thibodeau is gonna repeat, has that PMP DTM thing when he sign on. I know a lot of us have PMP. Carrie Singer, I put a soon there, Carrie, because I know Carrie there. Ryan Hunter, I said I'm gonna pick on you, and I should have picked on Josh too. It takes 4 years, comfortable, to get a Pathways DTM, and I heard it's the same for the traditional. I have to drop out of that for the clubs. And you, as member and guest, hope you on your LinkedIn or when you join up as a member, your PMP and your DTM one day. Just a quick mention, we have a guy in District 60 at one time. He actually stopped after 23 years now. He's got 19 DTMs. I think Kerry knows him, and some of you may know him. Amazing guy, but he's moved on to other things after 23 years in Toastmasters. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go on to DTM, the last page here. This is the official page for DTM. You see my mouse, you move up there, you type DTM, and this is the, I can't really, but it's Toastmasters distinguished dash Toastmasters, but toastmasters.org/distinguished dash Toastmasters. This is DTM. There's the traditional that Norm taught has 5 requirements for the traditional program, but in Pathways, there's 6 of them here. What we just talked about today, we talk about Pathways, number 1. Number 2, I'm proud of her, Saija, and all the officers. If you're an officer for 12 months with the club success plan, this is same as traditional, you would check off number 2. So any role, any of the 7 officers role. I'll slow down here a little bit. Something called the district officer. There's 3 of us that have done that. This is where you become an area director. It's where you look after, like, this is where I'm very impressive labor. And even say, I'm going to take care of Joanne this year. And after that, he will then look out there to see other area director. Now, as a district leader, there is a little way to bypass this. Be a club coach. Watch October 1st, some clubs, if they still 12 members, and you can help. This year, they make it easy. You can help guide the club to at least 3 more members, and that's to 15, and you'll get your club coach by the end of June next year. Anyways, I'll keep going. There's a club mentor and club coach. Club mentor, which I know Kerry did. There's 6 months after a new club starts, you have 6 months to guide the club. It doesn't have to be successful, and you can check off number 4. Or club coach. Club coach, you get the coach credit at the end of June, plus you get a district leadership, an area director that you don't have to do. But like I tell everyone here, it is invaluable experience to be an area director, a division director, or be a non-TBDU out there and do other areas of servant leadership. It's invaluable. Number 5 here is club sponsor. I have never done club sponsor, but I have a few times get close and just give it away and say somebody else can get the credit, or do a speechcraft. It takes the new way of doing speechcraft online is 4 weeks, 2 months of planning, 4 weeks of speechcraft. And speechcraft is just a way of doing getting people in. You get 5 per group, $50 US, and you guide them through a shorter version of Toastmasters for 4 weeks. And then if they choose to, they can become a member of the club or not. See if they want to try out 4 weeks of Toastmasters. Youth leadership is an awesome thing. 12 years old to 17, you got to get your police, what they call that little thing that you're cleared to work with kids. And you can be a teacher or Toastmasters for 4 weeks to 8 weeks, depending how you plan it out. Roughly 2 months to plan it out under police clearance, and 2 months to plan it out, get a team of people, and about $150 US for the books at one time. But you don't have to do that anymore. It's now online. So it's next to the education program if you want to do it that way. But you need to get to know more people, get the people to help you to be volunteers while you get your youth leadership program. I know there's someone in District 123 that is doing that big time. I can connect you to that lady out there if you want to work on it. And the last one is the DTM project. This is the one that Ali talked about. My toe is next to it. I just have to finish the paperwork. But a lot of DTMs ask me to pin a date. I'm going to try to get that done before June or by June 2023. Could be done earlier. And that's it. So any question on DTM? Yeah. Okay.
I have a question, Arthur. How
yes.
do you get like what do you mean by multiple DTMs? Like you get one, but then you said that guy had 19.
Yes.
Like, how do you get like 2?
So you open up more paths. He's got the traditional, I think 16 of them, and he got 3 pathways, pathways DTMs. You can work on multiple DTMs at the same time.
Wow. So you mean you do all this all over again, and then you get another one?
Yes. So DTM is Distinguished Toastmasters, but it also can mean determined to mentor people.
Yeah. Thanks.
I had a question. Also?
Yeah.
So on YouTube, I will see quite a number of speakers that, man, so even here, I'll see there are some really established speakers here, but I'll see some guys on YouTube that look like their skill set could run circles around what I even hope or dream to be at. I'm not sure. I guess those are the contest winners or something like that. I think some of them have the DTM behind their name. They seem like they're extremely good at what they do. Do you have any feedback on that? Because it seems like they've done, you said 2 or more pathways, but I can't imagine someone doing 19 pathways. That must be...
the record in the world is 50. Yeah. So. But to answer your question, there is 2 major areas. There's communication, the speeches in Toastmasters, and leadership. So they can just focus on communication, just the speeches if they want. There is a guy here, number 2 in Canada, somebody called Alexander Mate. And if you watch in August, he was number 2 in the world. He did not get his DTM. He was just working on his speech, the French speaker. And I think Liban is trying to snap him to come here, just like Roger Caesar for last term. So Roger Caesar is also a friend of mine. He came here, he gave, because there's communication and leadership, there's stage presence, there's, you watch people on the video, the screen, the whole thing, your vocal variety, and of course the style of your speech. I always talk about that hero's journey is not mine. It came from a group of people up region 6 that share all that. So Roger beat her, that lady called and of course Alexander beat her and went on to the semis and to the finals. So it's the icebreaker that you do can be turned into a hero's journey speech, which is how most of your movies are done today, or your speeches too. I hope that kind of answer your question.
Yes, it did.
All right, we're still in Q&A. We got a few more minutes. Yeah.
I don't have a question. I have 2 comments. One is for Ryan. Ryan, it's actually doable. Like Arthur said, you just start the process again. I have 0 interest in doing it. I just want to finish. I finished my first pathway. Want to finish my second pathway in about 2 years' time, and go from there. But I wanted to share with you a story of one of my childhood friends. Is a professor at Cambridge, virologist. And very recently, he sent me a message saying that, hey, I finished my second PhD. Do you want to come for my graduation? And I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, dude, I dropped out of my first one. What the hell? So some people are just academics. Some people are, I mean, they just want to do it. So this person who did 50 times around the world, good for them. And the second comment is that when I grow up, I want to be like Arthur and Norm, and do it a few times.
And Carrie, yeah. All right. Anybody else? I'm open. You can always reach out to me for the members. Any questions on pathways or anything Toastmasters. I went all in. Like this is my poker all in, and everything about Toastmasters I learn as much as I can. It's all Googleable, but I put it in a single path in this speech today, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
I will put here, I'd like to thank all of you for listening, and I'd like to thank Joanne for tagging me. She said, Arthur, can you do this speech? I can't say no to Joanne. She's awesome. And,
none of us can say no to Joanne.
and yeah, I know.
Not true.
My having done more than 50 over speeches in 2016, I can just jump in anything, anytime. I think most of you know, if someone drop off, I do the speech. And I know Carrie does that too. Thank you, Joanne. You tag me, and I'm gonna thank all of you. Get interested in DTM, and looking forward to seeing PMP DTM Scrum Master in your name. You don't have to, it's all up to you. And that's it for my speech. Thank you for listening today.